Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So, I was just talking to my play group a little bit earlier today about how I kind of have found that I really like to build commander decks in a way that is somewhat unexpected. You take a commander and you say, this commander does this. And I like to find a way where it does something not that, does something very different. So, yeah, with this deck especially, I think your opponents are going to be very surprised. They're never going to see this coming until it is too late. And then you've got a massive big play with, well, a very powerful commander with Tiamat. Now, Tiamat is typically taken for Dragon Tribal decks. I mean, yeah, let's read the card. A 7/7 Dragon God with flying that costs 2 in Wooburg, so 1 of each color. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, search your library for it to 5. 7 be crazy. 5's already crazy. Dragon cards not named Tiamat that each have different names. Reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle. Now, those requirements, obviously, that like not named Tiamat, different names, doesn't really matter in Commander. Commander is a singleton format. That being said, yeah, a tutor for 5 dragons is crazy good. And in fact, if you really wanted to make some sort of a crazy combo, yeah, there's probably plenty of ways to actually do that with those 5 dragons. That being said, that's not what we are doing. What we are doing is something, well, different. Yes, we are still technically getting 5 dragons. Now, are they all what you think, normal dragons are? No. Some of them really kind of play with the term dragon, though they can actually be targeted by this, and you can actually be tutored by this too. So it's a very interesting deck, and one that, again, your opponents are like, oh yeah, Tiamat, okay, I'm expecting to fight against dragons, cool, alright. And then they're gonna be like, oh no, it's supposed to be dragons. It's supposed to be Dragon Tribal. What are you doing? No. And then it's going to be too late, and then you're going to win. Lovely. Anyways, this is a very budget-friendly deck. Even though the commander itself is $7, well, $6.86, it's only a $25.24 deck, according to Moxfield's estimated cost. Now, that doesn't include shipping or basic lands, but you already have those basic lands, and yeah, the vast majority of this deck is incredibly budget-friendly. And, there's only one other card in this deck that I believe is actually even above 50 cents. So, yeah, you might already have that card. You might already have this. And then you've got an incredibly budget-friendly deck, even more budget-friendly than I'm actually saying it is. So, there you go. Now, if you are interested in this deck and surprising your friends, well, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. Now, with all that said, let's jump into the tactics. And to kind of illustrate what this deck wants to do, well, let's talk about the Golden Pig of this deck, which is the number 1 card of 99, and it is, well, the one card that is also above 50 cents, Karrthus, Tyrant of Jund. That's right, an actual dragon is in this deck. There you go. $3.09 for a 7/7 legendary creature dragon with flying and haste that costs 4, and then the Jund colors. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of all dragons, then untap all dragons. Other dragon creatures control of haste. This is a crazy good effect in very, 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 very specific situations. Most of which, yeah, it's very specific. If you're not playing against a Dragon Tribal deck, this doesn't do anything, right? And you know what? Sure, I mean, if you've got one of your players in your play group that's playing, their, Ur-Dragon deck, sure, cool, all right, demolish them with this. That being said, most of the time, yeah, this won't do anything against the vast majority of decks out there that don't have any dragons in them. That being said, the reason is the Golden Pig, well, isn't really apparent when I'm just talking about it in this context, but we're going to need to go to the next tactic to actually show why this card is so good. Because now let's go on to attack number 2, 4 of 5, because the rest of the 4 of 5 cards are pretty crazy, including Shields of Velasvale. Yeah, that's right. This is technically a dragon, a tribal instant shapeshifter with Changeling. That's right, this instant has Changeling, so it's every creature type at all times, including when it's in your library. Therefore, Tiamat can search for it, because again, Tiamat does say dragon cards. It does not say dragon, creature cards. If it said dragon creature card, this deck would not work, but it does work because of this, which is an amazing card. It says, creatures target player controls get +0/+1. Oh, and by the way, they gain all creature types until end of turn. So you might see where this is going and why Karrthus is the Golden Pig of this deck, because here's what happens. With just these 2 cards that you can guaranteed tutor for with your commander, you've got a 2-card combo to say, hey, you've got some amazing creatures in play. I would like those. So you play TMI, you get these cards, and you say, you know what? Okay, cool. Hey, I'm going to give your creatures +0/+1 until I'm turned. You're welcome. Oh, by the way, they're also dragons. Oh, by the way, Karrthus is coming into play. Oh, by the way, they're my creatures now permanently. Again, Karrthus, let me just double check. Yeah, gain control of all dragons and untapable dragons. Does not say until end of turn. There is no until end of turn. You do not give those dragons back to your opponent. You're not like, okay, thank you for letting me borrow your now temporary dragons. No, I permanently gain control of your creatures that I turn into dragons. They also have haste and they get untapped, so I can swing with them right away to demolish you. Or more likely, probably the other opponents first because I want to keep those creatures. That being said, yeah, those other opponents over there might not be as lucky because I might also take their now dragons after I decide to maybe do this again. We'll get to that here in a little bit, though. Next up, a little backup plan in case we need it. Blades of Veil, not quite as good, but still very good. Shapeshifter, Tribal Instant, for 1 in a red. Again, it has Changeling, so it's also a dragon. Up to 2 target creatures each get +0 and gain no creature types till of turn. Again, hey, you know, we also have a way to just turn 2 creatures into dragons. And again, yeah, you know, being able to steal 2 creatures essentially still a very, very, very good play. And again, permanently steal them. That being said, obviously Shields is better, but this is a good backup for us to have. Speaking of which, Rite of the Frost. This is a good way to say, you know what? Hey, you know what? Let's get that, you know, Karrthus trigger again. Maybe, or another trigger as well. We'll talk about some here in a little bit. It's a 0/0 legendary snow creature shapeshifter with Changeling. So again, it is technically a dragon. It says you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of a permanent you control, except it's legendary. And if it's a creature, it gets +2/+2, or 2 counters, I should say. Regardless, the important part is this is basically a clone that is a dragon technically, so we can tutor for it. And then, yes, we could clone Karrthus. And all of a sudden, yeah, we got another version of Karrthus. Sure, it's legendary, but the sacrifice one of them, probably this one. Or we can, you know, get another thing that has an ETB they'll talk about here in a bit. Regardless, at the very least, it is another ETB to gain control of even more dragons. So yes, have fun with that. And then finally, Sapphire Dragon. This is just some good, you know, protection, essentially. A 5/6 dragon with flying that costs 5 blue, and it does have when it attacks or blocks Scry 2, but more importantly, it's going to be in our hand. We're going to utilize it as an adventure spell most of the time. Sonic Pulse for 2 and a blue, instant speed, counter target non-creature spell, so basically negate for 1 extra mana. So again, this is a negate that we can tutor up with our commander to say, yeah, we're going to set ourselves up for turn. We're going to plan for our turn, all right? We're going to be ready for what our opponents might try to stop us. We're going to say, you know what? Hey, we've got our plan ready to go. We're going to execute it perfectly, and we are going to gain control of the best creatures on the board. Again, that player has got that great army. All of a sudden, now it is our army. And yeah, we'll go through plenty of ways that we're going to take advantage of these things, and also ways to ramp so quickly that, you know what? Your opponents won't know what hit them. Next up, let's move to attack number 3, which I'm calling Bring It Back, because again, like I said, yeah, our plan isn't just gain control of all temporary dragons once. We are going to be doing that multiple times throughout the game, depending on, hey, if our opponents, you know, build back up another army, or if that other player starts getting good creatures, or if the other player really upsets us and we decide, you know what, we're no longer buddies. Your creatures are dragons, now they're mine. Thank you. So yeah, Skullwinder is a great card for this deck. 1/3, Snake with Death Touch for 3 mana. Enters the battlefield, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Choose an opponent. They get 1 back from their graveyard to their hand as well. Make a deal with a player and say, you know what? Hey, okay, let's be buddies. We'll both be buddies. I won't target your creatures, whatever. Cool. You get a card back. I get a card back. We can enjoy this. And all of a sudden, those creatures are also mine now. We've got Archaeomancer. This one, get back any instant sorcery from your graveyard when it ETBs. Again, yeah, Shields is going to be a great card for us to get back again and again and again. We also have other ones that we want to utilize too. We'll talk about some here in a bit. Art Elementalist, basically the exact same thing as Archaeomancer. Timeless Witness, there you go. Basically another Eternal Witness type card. EDBs, get any card from your graveyard back to your hand. So again, that can be Shields, that can be, you know, Karrthus gets dealt with, etc., etc. We got Is It Chronic? Again, yet another Archaeomancer type card. Mnemonic Wall, you're going to see a pattern here. Another Archaeomancer, basically. Possessed Scab. This one can get back either an instant sorcery or creature. So again, and get back Karrthus, get back Shields, whatever we need to get back, get it back. Salvage Your Secrets, instant, ETB, or, you know, sorcery. So again, Archaeomancer, basically. Shipwreck Dowser, also Archaeomancer, but basically with prowess. Returned Past Card. This one's very interesting. Enters the battlefield, return target instant, or sorcery, or spirit for your graveyard to your hand. Again, so basically, yeah, I guess technically it would happen either way, but you can go and get back these Shields of Elspell and say, I'm getting back a spirit, and just get really cheeky about that. And then finally, Skull of the Ages. This one can be incredibly good. Enters the battlefield, return to 2 target instant or sorcery card from graveyard to your hand. This one gets back 2 things, so again, it can get back like Shields for us. And also, well, here's the thing. We're going to have some blink spells I'll talk about here in a bit, and if you have a blink spell plus this is just, hey, blink it, get back that blink spell, get back Shields again and again and again. So that's what attack number 4, don't blink. And yeah, we're going to be blinking a lot. Cloud Shift is a great one. With bees, really be careful when you are reading the text and how you apply them. So Cloud Shift is a great blink spell, and it's kind of different than other ones, and Wizards change the way that these are worded a little bit over the years. Exile target creature control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Usually Wizard doesn't say under your control, usually it's under its owner's control. So with this, actually, if you steal someone's, well, temporary dragon, and then, yeah, this creature's great, maybe it's got a great ETB that you want to use and abuse, sure, you can actually do that with this blink spell because you're going to blink that creature that you control, comes back under your control and stays there. Does not go back to that opponent's control, so keep that in mind. Regardless, this is a great way to say, you know what, I want to blink Karrthus because I want to steal even more dragons after I cast shields a second time or whatnot. Moving on, Flicker of Fate, blink any creature or enchantment. Mist Metal Witch, a repeatable blink effect, pay 2 in Azorius colors, blink a creature, return to the battlefield at the end of the turn. So again, keep in mind, kind of, some of these blink spells are right away ETBs, some of them are end of the turn. Yeah, when it comes to, avoiding a board wipe, great to, be end of the turn. When it comes to utilizing creatures right away with Karrthus, again, because we give them haste, yeah, let's utilize those ones that are more right away if we can. Regardless, it's a repeatable blink, so it's crazy good. Next up, Momentary Blink. Utilize this multiple times, again, because it has flashback, so again, this is a blink that comes back right away. Slip on the Ring, a blink that comes back right away as well, and then also the Ring tempts you. Lovely. Teferi's Time Twist, this one's actually going to be a delayed blink effect, so exile any permanent we control, we can, basically protect things with this as well. Anything that we want comes back at the end of the turn, and if it's a creature, cool, we get a counter on it, why not? Turn to Miss, this one is, well, easier to cast because of 1 and Azorius, so a little bit of flexibility there. Blink a creature, bring it back at the end step. Displace, blink 2 creatures, so again, this is where things get pretty crazy again. Blink Karrthus, and then also blink maybe one of those Archaeomancer type cards to bring, maybe this blink spell back again and again and again, so you can just keep utilizing it. Ghostly Flicker in a very similar way. Blink up to 2 target artifacts, creatures enter land you control, essentially. Yeah, again, if we've got the creatures in play to blink with great TBs, let's do so. Lugia Stratagem, again, same thing, essentially. Blink 2 creatures, draw a card, though. Semester's End, this one is a mass blink spell. Exile any number of target creatures and planeswalkers you control, essentially, and then say they come back at the end step and they also get counters on them. Lovely. The important thing is, again, it's any number, so again, you don't have to blink creatures you stole, because if you did, it'd be like, yeah, under the zone of control, and that's no fun for us, right? We don't want to give those, well, probably dragons at the point that we cast this, but we don't want to give those creatures back that we stole, right? We want to keep those creatures, so just blink creatures that you want to blink again. All those are Archaeomancer type cards, all the other ETBs we're going to be talking about here in a bit, and of course, Karrthus, take advantage of all that niceness. And then, of course, Nahiri's Resolve, a great repeatable card that is fantastic for us. Creature control get plus 1/0 and have haste, so that's nice additional haste on top of Karrthus. And then also on top of that, beginning of your end step, exile any number of non-token artifacts under creature you control. Return this battlefield, under zone of control, begin the next upkeep. So it's a repeatable blink effect for us that's going to stay in play and help us get a lot of value out of it. And then finally, Yorion Sky Nomad. ETBs, exile any number of other non-land permanents you control, own and control, I should say. Return the battlefield under your control at the beginning next step. So again, a delayed blink effect, a mass blink effect, but one that, well, again, if we've got multiple, ETBs in play, multiple Archaeomancer type effect, Karrthus, just blink this with a simple blink spell, and then you get all those ETBs as well. So make sure you keep that in mind. That's about attack number 5, Insult to Injury, because, well, we are going to be also just, wrecking our opponent's plans even further than just stealing all their creatures again and again and again. Broken Bond, I would do so. So target artifact or enchantment, put a land card for your hand on the battlefield. So again, we'll get to some more ramp cards here in a bit, but ramp is quite important to make sure that we can do all this, well, potentially even just in one turn. Night of Autumn is another great one. Enters battlefield, choose 1, 2 counters on it, so it can be a decent threat. Short target artifact or enchantment, that's probably going to choose most of the time. Or you gain for life. Sure, if we need some life, why not? Angel of the Ruins, a great ETB to use and abuse. ETBs, exile up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. That is huge. Permanently getting rid of 2 things, that's massive. And also, yeah, again, we've got plenty of ways to blank it, so keep doing that and just wipe out your opponent's artifacts and enchantments. Also, sure, if you want to plane cycle this early in the game, you can. And then finally, Terastodon. Yeah, this thing is disgusting. Enters the battlefield, destroy up to 3 target non-creature permanents. For each permanent of the grave this way, it gets a 3/3 elephant. Sure, you get your 3/3 elephants that I might steal later, making them into dragon elephants for whatever reason. Dragon elephant, vampire, every creature type, but we're going to steal them potentially. Regardless, again, yeah, destroy a lot of things on ETB. Destroy 3 things on ETB. Well worth it. Keep utilizing this ETB again and again and again. Let's move on to tech number 6, though. Knowledge is power, because, yeah, we want some of these lovely cards in our hands. We're going to dig down with a card like Pull from Tomorrow. Draw X cards, discard a card. Again, we're talking about some ways later that we can ramp a lot. We're going to have a lot of mana to put into this, so we can just dig down. Moving on, Sphinx Revelation. Gain X life, draw X cards, so pad your life total while drawing down your deck. Stroke of Genius, another great X draw spell. Draw a ton of cards. So your player draws X cards. So if we're feeling generous, yeah, no, we're not going to give it to a opponent. We're going to give it to ourselves. We're going to draw a ton of cards. Eureka Moment is a great way to ramp and draw. Draw 2 cards in speed, play a land card from your hand on the battlefield. Lovely. Next up, Cloud Blazer, a great ETB to use and abuse. Gain 2 life, draw 2 cards on ETB. So yeah, of course we're going to utilize that, as well as Mold Drifter, which basically is the exact same thing. Not the life gain, that's okay though, but does have the evoke cost that we can utilize if we really need to. Tattoo of Benthic Druid is a great card as well. Again, we've got plenty of ways to ramp, and of course many ways to land ramp because we are in green. So let's take advantage of that. Whenever land is battlefield under control, you gain 1 life, draw a card. Yeah, that's a crazy good effect. So now when we ramp, we just dig down into our deck, draw more cards, gain more life. What's not to love about that? And speaking of drawing and gaining, well, we're going to gain even more card advantage with Urban Evolution. Draw 3 cards and play additional land this turn. So again, a way to dig down into our deck and a way to ramp us to get ahead of our opponents. Now let's move on to tech number 7, Just Landed, because, well, we've got some creatures that can help us ramp as well, and some ETBs that we can use and abuse, like Coiling Oracle. When this ETB is real the top card of your library, if it's a land, it goes right onto the battlefield, otherwise it goes into our hand. So again, either card advantage or mana ramp. What's not to love about that? And again, it's an ETB, but we've got plenty of ways to use and abuse throughout the game. Speaking of which, Farhaven, Elf, guaranteed to hit a land here, as long as you got basics in your deck. We got a ton of those, so go get a basic land on ETB, put it into play, tapped. And finally, Springloom Druid, sacrifice 1 land, get 2 basics into play, tapped. So some great mana fixing there, and ramp on top of that. Basically a Roiling Regrowth on an ETB that, again, all these ETBs, we can use and abuse them quite easily throughout the game. But now let's move to tactic number 8, ramp it up. And of course, first up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble. Pay 2 taps, sacrifice, get a base land into play, tap. Next up, Fawn Fertility, the enchantment version of Wayfarer's Bauble, essentially. Rampant Growth, what ramp is named after. Go get a basic land into play, tap for 2 mana. What's not to love about that? Edge of On basically is the exact same thing as long as we've got 4 or fewer lands, or we can cycle it away if we need to by discarding a land, to draw something else. Next up, Cultivate. Go get 2 basics. 1 goes into play, tap. 1 goes into our hand. Kadama's Reach is the exact same thing, except it is an arcane spell, which really doesn't ever matter. Next up, there's Harrow. Sacrifice 1 land, go get 2 basics, into play, untap, so you can utilize that mana right away. Roiling Regrowth, very similar, except those lands come into play tapped, unfortunately. That's okay, though. It's still a great way to help us fix our mana and ramp. And then Search for Tomorrow, another great turn 1 play. Suspend 2 for a single green mana, get a basic into play, untapped. But now we're going to move on to tactic number 9, keep on ramping, because, yeah, we're not done ramping just yet. We want an absurd amount of mana. We want things to just keep going. We want to make it so that we can just have those massive plays to ensure that, you know what, there is no question how this game is going to be going. So, yeah. Colony Expedition, a great card in this deck. Landfall, basically when you get a landfall, you get a charge counter on it, essentially. Not charge counter, it's an expedition counter, whatever it's called. Quest counter, there we go. Once you get 3 of those, remove them, sacrifice, get 2 lands into play, tapped. Then we got Growth from the Ashes. If you kick it, get 2 basics in play, untapped. If not, just 1. Again, great flexible spell. Explosive Vegetation, 4 mana, get 2 basics into play, tapped. What's not to love about that? Migration Path, exact same thing, but we can cycle it away if we need to. Fastwood Surge, hey, you know what? With all those creatures that we're getting, let's also have a way to make them even bigger, and let's just do that on mana ramp. So early in the game, we can just pay 4 mana, get 2 basics into play tapped as well, just basically close vegetation. Later in the game, you can kick this and get 2 counters on every single one of your creatures. So now, insult to injury again on your opponents. Like, oh, I got your creatures. Oh, now they're even bigger. Oh, now they're taking you out. Goodbye. Then we've got Nissa's Renewal at 6 mana. Gain 7 life. That's nice. A little nice life padding right there. But also, hey, more importantly, get 3 basics into play tap. Speaking of which, Verdant Confluence can do the exact same thing essentially, except for that life gain. Go get 3 basics into play tapped, or again, any combination of other things as well. 3 is essentially the mode you can choose. Put 2 counters on target creature. Probably not choosing that. If target permanent card from graveyard to your hand, yeah, I mean, if Karrthus gets dealt with, we can get it back to our hand. But yeah, most likely we're just going to be doing 6 mana, go get 3 lands, ramp incredibly quickly with this deck. And then we finally have Verdant Mastery, a great card in this deck as well. You pay 6, you go get 4 lands, 2 go into your hand, 2 go into play tapped. If you only pay 4 for it, though, hey, you can make a buddy with this. You can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be friends with you, okay? All right, we're not going to mess with each other. You get a basic into play tapped. Good for you. So one of those lands goes into play under your friend's control, right? Your friend. They're your friend now, right? But now finally, let's move on to tactic number 10, full speed ahead, because this card, well, is a crazy good card for this kind of a deck. Helm of Awakening, a very simple card. Artifact for 2 mana, spells cost 1 less to cast. Now, keep in mind that doesn't spell, say, like, you know, your spells, or like specific kinds of spells, like artifacts or whatnot. No, this is just every single spell that everyone casts in the game costs 1 less to cast. That means that your opponents probably can cast more creature spells, which is lovely, because they're gonna be like, oh, cool, I save mana. Thank you so much, Mitch. And I'm like, you're welcome. I talk like that for whatever reason. But yeah, basically, everyone's going to be saving mana. Players are going to be playing more spells, including you. You're going to be playing more and more ramp spells to get things out quicker, to play your commander on the same turn as, you know, Karrthus, essentially, and, you know, the shields, and essentially just a lot of crazy things can happen again. You can build up that giant turn where you say, oh, wow, I've got nothing going on at all. I haven't hit any of my dragons in my deck. I don't know how. I just keep hitting all these ramp spells. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've held a can play. Okay, cool. All right, let's just go crazy on this turn. Let's take all your creatures. Let's just demolish their opponents, and then you lose. You lose. I win. That's how it's going to go. But now this episode is coming to a close. It's time for me to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts are on this crazy one, because yeah, it's a little off the wall. I do like building around commanders in a different kind of way. I don't like... I mean, not that I don't like it. There are definitely times where I definitely enjoy taking a commander where it's supposed to be built in a certain way, and I just build it that way. But I definitely like kind of taking a commander with the expectation, again, with like Team Mod, is, hey, Dragon Tribal. It's not like, hey, you got like 2 dragons in the deck, and then 3 cards. I guess it's 3 dragons in the deck, but like 2 other cards that you're like, yeah, those are technically dragons. Sure, but yeah, you're just tutoring up miscellaneous cards that are terrible in Magic, like Shields, and all of a sudden you're like, no, Shields is one of the best cards of all time, because let me tell you, all your creatures are mine, and then all your creatures are mine, and then all your creatures are mine, and you lost to a janky build. That is pretty crazy. So yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on it. If you're interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below, and of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.